Now from WATN, it's Local 24 This Week with Richard Ransom.
Happy Sunday to you. Thanks for joining us for Local 24 This Week. I'm Richard Ransom. The real story behind the big stories every week, and it seems every week we have plenty to talk about in the Mid-South. Our topics this week, Mr. Speaker. Republicans have a new nominee for Speaker of the Tennessee House of Representatives. He's Cameron Sexton from Crossville. That's assuming the embattled current Speaker decides to step down, as he's promised to do. Scooter skepticism. The city says the number of electric scooters zooming around downtown will more than double soon, but is that necessarily a good thing? And it's election season. Before you say, what are you talking about, Richard? This week, the ballot for the city election in October became official, and a debate among Republicans who want to be Mississippi's next governor showed there's always an election in the Mid-South, one place or another. Local 24 News reporter Mike Matthews and political analyst Otis Sanford will be here in a moment for my roundtable. But first, let's go one-on-one with my guest, consumer investigator Andy Wise.
What's he doing on 24?
A familiar face around here, maybe different stations, but we're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And to kind of catch up on what you've been up to, you left TV News.
Yes.
And have been doing your own thing. Why don't you tell the folks what you've been up to the last couple of years?
And people still wonder, because I still get emails from people asking for my help. But I retired from TV News at the end of 2017, and I launched my own business. It's AndyWiseChoices.com, where I endorse Mid-South sales and service companies exclusively to their category of sales and services. You can go to wisechoices.com, AndyWiseChoices.com, and shop a plumber, an electrician, an accountant, law firm, one per category, and it's the one that I have vetted to be the most trustworthy and the most honest business for that particular category. If you don't hire them outright, at least make them part of your estimate pool as you're putting together estimates for a particular job.
Well, back in the day when you did your consumer reporting, that was always important to you, is that businesses needed to meet a certain criteria before you'd feature them in a story or whatever. Talk a little bit about some of the qualities or qualifications you have when you're deciding what you're going to recommend.
Those are many, and they're legion. But I do have a 5-point baseline when I'm vetting companies for consideration. Some apply, some I'm actually recruiting, some I'm vetting as we speak. But they must have a Better Business Bureau record within the Mid-South of an A or higher, A or A plus. They don't have to be members of the Better Business Bureau, but they need to be tracked by the Better Business Bureau, and they need to meet the Bureau's standards. 150 years, they're doing something right. And the Better Business Bureau of the Mid-South is one of the most proactive bureaus in the country, one of the most aggressive bureaus in the country, and one of the most accurate in terms of vetting companies. So that's a part of my 5-point baseline. Length of service to the Mid-South. We like people who are dedicated to the Mid-South, who are locally owned by people who made their lives here in the Mid-South and in the Memphis area. That's important as a consideration. I go through their state, local licenses, business licenses, and industry licenses when applicable, like contractors, for example. They must meet those standards, and I go through their disciplinary histories for each of those licenses before they can be considered. And certain consumer protection guidelines, guarantees, or warranties. If they offer something that most companies within that category of industry does not offer, that speaks directly to consumer protection, they're going to go to the top of my list.
So are there particular industries that tend to have more red flags than others? I'm thinking about, people assume auto mechanics. People assume, well, we know about the problems with tax preparers.
Right.
Are there some that you would tell the consumer who's watching today, be really careful?
Well, you name 2 of the top 10.
Yeah.
But the number one, and what continues to be the number one issue in the Mid-South, and it doesn't quite fit. I don't endorse a property management company because I haven't found one yet worth endorsing in the Mid-South. But the number one consumer issue still in the Mid-South here is landlord-tenant disputes. In fact, so many that I still get a dozen emails a week from people assuming that I'm still a reporter. They go to wisechoices.com, assume that's still a news site when it's not a news site, although I do continue to write and blog about the consumer issues of the day. But they come to me and they say, my slumlord is evicting me and I haven't done anything wrong, what do I do? And so I'm consistently sending them to the resources in this area, like the Community Legal Center of Memphis, and others who can assist them at little to no cost. But that's still the number one major issue here. Contractors, shady contractors.
Roofers and all that.
Yes, that's an essential part of wisechoices.com, because many of my clients, 27 of whom I endorse now on the sales and service side, are electricians, plumbers, HVAC. And these are the ones whom I endorse. the people who consume AndyWiseChoices.com and use it as a free resource can know that I've done the homework, and you can hire them, not have to do any of the homework.
Peace of mind.
And plus, another thing I provide my clients, which is in turn provide to their customers, is conflict resolution. If there's a problem with one of the clients whom I endorse with a customer, I get involved. And people are often like, wow, Andy Wise is helping to resolve this conflict with this particular client. And that's gone a long way to reassure people that if Andy says this is someone you should hire, then I should hire them.
Because there is such a high poverty rate in Memphis, do you feel like we're more susceptible to the gimmicks and the scammers who will try to take advantage of folks?
No question. We have, what, 40% of our population is at or below the poverty line, maybe 35%, 38%. Certainly. Because, and part of it is the trusting factor, because our community in the Mid-South is also getting older. Secondly, those people within that category don't know where to turn, in spite of the resources that Memphis and the Mid-South has.
They don't know free lawyers are available, and like you're talking about the other resources.
Yeah, or even the Better Business Bureau. I mean, in spite of the fact that the Better Business Bureau has been around for 150 years, I can't tell you how many times over my 20-year tenure in full-time, remember, I did nothing but consumer protection and consumer advocacy. I was hired by Channel 3 in '97 to do that, and I did it for 20 years in 2 stations, and was never really pulled off to do anything else except for weather or a true breaking news event. But during all those 20 years, every week I got at least one email from someone who hired someone without doing any of the work. And in their contact to me, whether it's a call or email, they've said, you know, they haven't come back. It's been 2 weeks, and I checked the Better Business Bureau, and they have an F rating. And can you help? And I said, yeah, I'm going to help you, because your story's not only a legitimate consumer issue, but it's also newsworthy. But why didn't you do that on the front end? So now I'm asking people to use me on the front end, along with the Bureau and other resources, so that they don't have to go through that.
That's wonderful. So going on your website, I noticed it's not just businesses that you take a look at, but also charities. You give advice and warnings. There's a lot more to it than just, is this business one I want to do business with? Right. As I said earlier, I'm still writing regularly about the consumer issues of the day, the latest scams and ripoffs, and also the traditional scams and ripoffs that continue to rear their ugly heads in the Mid-South. So I'm still providing content to people who consume AndyWiseChoices.com to protect them while they shop my Wise Choices. And then we also have Wise Charities now, where I'm endorsing locally planted, locally germinated 901 independent 501c3s who have no national or regional affiliation. Charities are having trouble getting the word out that they're around. Charities are having trouble to let people know that we are a resource in this community. I'm offering them a platform to where I can endorse them and get their word out through social media, TV, radio, to help promote their causes. It seems sometimes Memphis almost has too many charities. You have a lot of worthwhile organizations that all, sometimes what they're aiming to do is redundant. There's a lot of repetition. Nobody wants to give up their seat on the board, so the charity continues. That's a good point. And, you know, that's kind of a problem. So they do have trouble distinguishing themselves. The Wise Charities we feature, we have 3 that we endorse officially now that are on there. What's nice about their dedicated pages on AndyWiseChoices.com is you can go there, and I have pulled their 990s. I have pulled their tax records, and the consumer can go and see exactly what percentage of your donated dollar goes to the direct mission of that particular charity. So they can make a decision as to, you know, is 60% fair? Is 70% of my dollar, you know, what I want going to that particular charity? Is that enough for this particular mission? What is the mission? Who owns it? Who operates it? Who sits on the board? Those are all details in one single flash for those people who see those pages on Wise Charities at AndyWiseChoices.com. I'm going over time, but I want to ask you, your time on Channel 3, time at Channel 5, do you miss it, or have you really found your calling in what you're doing now, would you say? You know, I was in TV news for 27 years, 20 of them here, and I thought I would miss it. And the reason I thought I would miss it is because I thought I'd missed the opportunity to continue to advocate for consumers in a way that only I did full-time for that length of time. When I conceived WiseChoices.com, that eliminated that nostalgia, because it's not nostalgia anymore. I'm still doing it. It's just under my terms, and I'm also able to commandeer and marshal the resources of legitimately trustworthy, honest businesses of integrity
who can help the consumers, and in essence, they can trust them that they will do the right thing, whatever that service is, because Andy says they will.
Very
and
good.
Andy will stand behind it.
Well, I'm proud of you, my friend. You've done great.
Thank you, and I'm honored that you would consider me to be on the show.
What you do is so important in this town, and really encourage people to go to AndyWiseChoices.com and see for yourself how you can benefit from all the wealth of information that's offered.
Thank you so much.
Very good. Well, thanks again for being here.
Richard. Thank you.
Very good. We'll be back with my roundtable right after this.
Did you know that if a careless driver injures you and is uninsured, you can seek money under your own insurance policy? And in Tennessee, your rates can't go up. For straight talk and straight answers, call Nahon Saharovich and Troz at 683-7000.
Everyone who has ever lived has lived here. All of mankind's triumphs and failures. Every moment, every hometown, all here. We start our coverage on the ground and take it to the airwaves, so you always know what's happening in your own world and beyond. We are free TV and radio. We are breaking news. We are always there. We are broadcasters.
This summer, enhance your driving experience at the all-new Lincoln of Memphis. Experience the extreme comfort of the new 2019 Lincoln Nautilus from the comfort of our state-of-the-art showroom with advanced available features like enhanced park assist, 12.3-inch LCD touchscreen, wireless phone charging, and a panoramic vista roof which spans both rows of seating. It's time to upgrade your commute. It's time to start thinking Lincoln of Memphis. Visit LincolnofMemphis.com.
This year, the city of Memphis and Shelby County honor 200 years while embracing the next 100 years to come. Join in as we celebrate our new century of soul.
Local 24 is a proud supporting partner of A New Century of Soul.
America's veterans are more than a source of pride. They're a source of strength. When our veterans thrive, our communities thrive. With your support, our veterans can get career and education opportunities as well as benefits they've earned.
Hello, I'm Congressman David Kustoff. Join me in thanking our nation's veterans. They've given so much in service to our country. Find out how you can support veterans in our community.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
You're watching Local 24 This Week with Richard Ransom.
It's time now for our roundtable, and today I have Local 24 News reporter Mike Matthews and Local 24 political analyst and commentator Otis Sanford. Thanks, you two, for being here today. Let's talk about this development in Nashville. We've been following it week by week by week. We finally have a nominee for a new House Speaker. Drum roll, please, for Representative Cameron Sexton of Crossville. He, after 4 rounds of voting, got the most votes, and he is the nominee by Republicans to be the next speaker. We're going to have this special session of the legislature coming up in the 3rd week of August. Do we think he's going to be the guy, and is Glenn Cassida, the outgoing speaker, is he going to do as promised and resign next week? Otis?
Well, I'll answer the first one with certainty. He will definitely be the guy. The Republicans have, 73 seats in the supermajority, so he was basically the speaker once he was picked this past week. The Democrats are just there window dressing on this one. So yes, he'll be there. I think he'll bring a calming influence. He certainly will bring a lot less rancor and certainly a lot less scandal. You certainly hope that. I do believe that Cassida will indeed step aside this week, as he promised. He's been there far too long anyway to gain some extra money, I believe. But yes, I think he'll step aside this week, but it's still not over for him. He still has a lot of things to answer for.
Well, and the GOP wants to put a smooth coating on all of this and say all is well, but we know there are investigations underway, and there has been a lot of throwing individuals under the bus, and I got to believe there is going to be some more turmoil.
Absolutely, all is not well. And what should happen here in this case for Sexton would be, he'd be doing the state and his political party a favor by becoming perhaps the most boring speaker we've ever had. Stay out of trouble, stay out of controversy, no drama at all, take it straight down the line. You don't need drama when you have the supermajority that they have. They can just do what they want to do, and they don't need to lock legislators in the chambers and get into fights with legislators after state troopers come through. They don't need to do any of that. Just do the job.
Yep. And not only will all not be well, but this is where the Democrats can make a little hay. They have no power to do anything related to picking the speaker. But they can certainly make a lot of noise about the alleged wrongdoings of Cassada while he was in that office of only about, what, 7 or 8 months. So the investigations will be things that the Democrats can talk a lot about, can send out social media blast about. They can make life miserable just by creating discussion over all of those issues.
Well, I've heard more than one politician make the analogy of Nashville and Washington, that Tennessee has its own swamp that needs to be drained, and there have been a number of ethical, at the very least ethical, possibly illegal things that have taken place.
Gosh, it's part of our heritage in many ways. It is. I mean, you know, the Tennessee, from all the way back to Operation Tennessee Waltz, which affected so many of our legislators here in Memphis and Shelby County. Yeah, it just goes with the territory up there at times, and I don't know why. It's just, I guess, you know, they get power crazed a little bit and decide to go out after it. But they just need to calm down and do the job. That's all they need to do.
All right, well, let's talk about some scooters, all right? We learned this week that Memphis has plans to sign on with 2 more vendors that will bring more of these things to downtown and midtown where they're popular. They say that the number of scooters in the city will probably more than double by the time everyone is signed up. And it brought this interesting op-ed piece from Keith Goldberg, a lawyer in town, who titled his piece, "Flipping the Bird." So you can guess where he stands on this. This was in the Daily Memphian. He said, why, if we have bike lanes to keep cyclists, pedestrians, and motorists safe, do we allow these unregulated motorized scooters to take over our sidewalks? If you live downtown like I do, you have likely been run off the sidewalk or worse. Also, if Tennessee state law requires helmets for all motorized vehicles, from motorcycles to mopeds, why not motorized scooters? That's insane. Like me, you've likely witnessed every type of scooter rider imaginable, the uncoordinated, the inebriated, and the just plain reckless, not to mention the pack of scooters whose curb jumping antics and danger to drivers are always a sight to behold. If you live downtown, you have to also work hard to navigate around the visual pollution that is scooter after scooter flipped on its side right in the middle of a sidewalk. All, I think, very valid points. You did a story on scooters this week, Mike, and I know the mayor has announced that they're going to try and restrict some things about the burgeoning scooter industry in town, but I don't know if it's enough.
No, I don't know if it is either. In fact, it was a reminder to me that there's been a pilot program in place for the last year concerning regulations for scooters. I don't know what those regulations are because, as the letter writer said, they're all over the place. I talked with people downtown at Court Square who talked about having to run out of the way because of scooters coming right at them or them brushing by as they go through. And yes, the visual pollution is all over the place, and especially in places like Cooper Young and Overton Square. They're everywhere. So there's supposed to be rules and regulations in place as to prohibiting that from happening. I don't know where they are. You make them full-time now. Well, they say if they don't follow them, they'll pull their licenses. All right, let me see that.
Otis, you know, Nashville is a little farther along on this one. They actually want to cut the number of scooters in half and are threatening to eliminate them altogether.
That's right.
They want no scooters on sidewalks. They do want to require helmets. Why can't we be a little more proactive, I guess, and progressive in that regard?
That's a really good question. I think the helmet issue might be a little tough in that then you're going to force everybody, because a lot of times getting a scooter sometimes is a spur of the moment.
It's an impulse. It's an impulse.
That's right. And so that means you'd have to bring your helmet around everywhere you go. I don't know if that works, but I do believe that the op-ed in the Daily Memphian was right on the money about the problems with the scooters on the sidewalks. Running into and nearly running into people. It needs to be regulated a little bit more. Maybe all of those things short of the helmet we need to really seriously consider. The same thing is happening at the U of M, where I am. We have students run around there and they almost run over people. So this is a valid discussion, and I think that the city leaders need to have some more discussion about this.
One of the things that might make the city be a little more easygoing with these scooters is they make about $500,000. The city made about $500,000 from scooter rentals in the last year. Now they say they use that money to fix up crosswalks, to fix up sidewalks, things like that. You bring in 2 more companies, well, now you're looking at possibly $1 million a year. They don't want to give up that. They don't want to give up that.
That's real money.
Very good point. All right, very good. We'll leave it there. When we come back, we're going to talk about elections. We have an October election in the city coming up, and the Mississippi gubernatorial race is getting interesting, too. We'll be right back.
Introducing the greater-than-ever Toyota Corolla. With its aggressive styling, advanced connectivity, and available 169 horsepower. Now, get a low-mileage lease on a Corolla LE for just $179 a month. Toyota. Let's go places.
America has an education problem. The old system isn't working anymore. 35 million Americans have put their college education on hold. Who's going to do something about it? We are. Strayer University wants you to graduate. 90% of transfer students say Strayer was the right choice for finishing their degree.
Up for anything? Nissan is. And Nissan SUVs have advanced tech to help guide you to the perfect spot. Stay connected. And take any trail. Nissan SUVs. Up for whatever you are. Save up to $5,500 on Rogue or get 0% financing for up to 60 months on 12 models.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. Battles are won within. Over enemies of fear. Enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise of battles won.
Sunshine, open roads, and fun. It's Toyota Joyride season. Now get 2.9% financing on a new 2019 Camry. Or a low-mileage lease for $209 a month. Toyota. Let's go places.
You're watching Local 24 this week with Richard Ransom.
Back on Local 24 this week to talk about elections. It's always election season in the Mid-South, right? We've got 3 states to watch.
Right.
There's a lot. So first, let's talk about the city election coming up in October. This week, we learned which names will and will not be on the ballot. Among the highlights, we have 11 candidates, all told, that'll be running for mayor. What was your observation when you saw the final ballot and what's going to look like, Mike?
It's not a record. I thought it might have been, but it's not. We've had more than 11 run for mayor before. I still say, and as we all say, the same thing. You still have the big 3. You still have Tammy Sawyer, Willie Harrington, and of course the incumbent, Jim Strickland, is running. I don't see anything that's going to change that at all. One of the races, almost all the city council races do have opposition this year. There's no, sometimes city council races go just with the incumbent. No one runs against them. They're all challenged this year. Several of them could end up in runoffs, which are going to cost money in the single districts. And then you got the city court clerk's office race, which is actually sort of interesting.
Yeah.
You got several people running there, including former city councilman, not the judge, but former city councilman Joe Brown, and former city councilman Myron Lowry.
So who of the city council districts do you think is vulnerable? Anyone? Because usually the incumbency is, feel the incumbent's going to win.
Yeah, I thought early on, maybe late last year, I thought Berlin Boyd was vulnerable. I think I'm moving away from that now only because there are so many other people in that race. I think he may have one of the most crowded races on the ballot.
And he's like, the more the merrier.
And right, because they will split up the votes, and if he gets his constituency out there, I think that will be an easier time for him, although he is in a single-member district. So if he does not get the 50%, he would be in a runoff.
And that's what happened to him 4 years ago.
Exactly.
He had to go into a runoff.
But I think that it's easier sailing with him. I do think that Sherman Greer out in District 1, who was appointed to the seat in a very contentious action at the end of the year, he is running against Rhonda Logan, who a lot of people in the community wanted to have that seat. And this is just one-on-one with the two of them, as I understand. That'll be an interesting race to see, what the community really wants to do. Do they want to go with the one that got snubbed at the end of the year, or do they want to go with the one that the city council picked? So I'll be watching those two.
You sparked, and now hopefully one of you two can help me out. Jean Carlisle his son, Chance Carlisle, is running for one of the super district seats. And I cannot remember the name of the opponent, but I remember thinking when I was looking at this massive ballot that, boy, that one's going to be, that could be interesting too.
I can't remember what that is.
We'll have to get back to you on that one, folks. But what else observations do you have?
I think you know, I still think that Berlin Boyd will have a bit of a problem. I think Sherman Greer could possibly lose that race. I think you might see a few changes in city council, but not many. I know that there are people who still wish they'd had the instant runoff this year, but that's not coming anywhere. And this is going to be the last election, knock on wood, for the Election Commission to use the machines that we have now. They want to have their new machines in place for the presidential election next year. So expect a long night on these results in October. I think you'll see the mayor's race actually heat up a little bit more. I think it has to in the next few weeks, because they really haven't been doing much of lately. But Willie Harrington's press conference, I think, kicks off this more of an aggressive campaign.
And one very quick thing on District 6 with Edmund Ford Sr. is coming back. He has to be the favorite right now. It'll be interesting to see if voters have moved on from a Ford or they want to bring him.
I got 30 seconds to talk about the Mississippi gubernatorial race. You were watching that with me and had commentary on that. It looks like it's going to be one of the three men, Representative Robert Foster, Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves, or Supreme Court Chief Justice Bill Waller, the former Chief Justice. Who do you like on that one? Who do you think is going to win?
Well, I mean, obviously all of them are trying to be as conservative as possible. I do think that Tate Reeves, with the money and the name recognition, is the one to beat there.
And can former Lieutenant Governor Jim Hood, can he win? The Attorney General, I mean, Jim Hood, the Democrat, can he win?
He's about as strong a candidate I think the Democrats could put up there. This is a basically decent man who's done a lot of things, from the cancer lawsuits on to the opioids lawsuit. Yeah, he can win.
Turnout will be the key.
We'll be right back.
Are you struggling financially? What if you could earn money while helping to save lives? At Plasma Biological Services, you can earn up to $500 in your first month of donating plasma. Every donor is required to provide a valid ID along with proof of Social Security number. The process is similar to donating blood and is a very safe and comfortable procedure.
Help yourself while helping others.
Only you can provide life-saving medications for others. Please call us today at one of our locations to find out more on donating plasma.
In our fight for justice, our day starts before most are awake. There's no journey too long in the journey for justice. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
America's veterans are more than a source of pride. They're a source of strength. When our veterans thrive, our communities thrive. With your support, our veterans can get career and education opportunities, as well as benefits they've earned.
I'm Senator Marsha Blackburn. Our veterans have given Tennessee so much, and it's time to do something for them. Find out how you can support them right in your community.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
And we do say good morning, America.
We're gonna make it through. We are one, we are together.
It'll be okay. This year and for over 5 years, America's most watched morning show is.
You have no idea what a privilege it is to be able to say good morning to America every single morning.
Small businesses drive our nation's economy, employing about half of the country's private sector workforce.
Here's coffee.
Thanks so much.
When you shop at local small businesses, you help the entire community thrive.
Hello, I'm Congressman David Custall. Small businesses unite our community and they bolster our local economy. Shop local and help spur innovation and job creation in West Tennessee.
Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
And that's all we have time for today. My thanks to Mike Matthews and Otis Sanford for being here, and my thanks to you as well. I hope to see you next time for Local 24 this week.